Hey guys, how's it going? Hey, we're going to continue on this Benelli Buzzer mini bike that I picked up about a month or so ago with some other projects. And we already got one video of it. We kind of went and did an assessment on it, went through the carburetor, the fuel system, the tank. The engine I think was stuck. We took the cylinder head off. There was a bunch of carbon and bits stuck inside there and got it to run. And then we tried to pop it in gear and just kind of see if it had a neutral. Left the back tire down on the ground, and the back tire had no air in it, and it spun the valve stem off the tire. So for some reason it doesn't seem like it has a neutral. It does have a clutch lever up on it, up here, but as far as what I understand, that's not really meant for like standing still and taking it in and out of gear. I think it's just it tightens the clutch up once you get moving to kind of like lock it into top gear, maybe more like a torque converter. We popped the cover off of it, and that's kind of like where we left off. So we got to kind of look into that more and figure out how that system works. And even with the comments from the other one, it still seems just as confusing. It's a 1970, and it roughly sat for about 40 years. I did get tubes. They came in for it. They're sitting around somewhere in a box. So let's start with trying to stop it from doing any more damage and see if we can get that back tire assembly off of there. Throw a tube in it, and you'll probably do the same for the front. And while we're there, we'll check the brakes out, and then we'll work our way back to that clutch situation and hopefully get it running like it should. So without further ado, start turning some wrenches. I'm not quite sure what this is supposed to be doing. I don't know if that held the kickstand up or something maybe. Definitely someone's clothes hanger. Alright, so we got an adjuster on there. Let's get that off of both sides. We should be, I don't know if the bolt pulls right out or if we're able to take it out from the rear. I don't know if that cable is going to survive getting taken out of there. It's all frayed. Let's see if we can just kind of unbolt it and leave it in the holster. So that brake jump's going to have to go with it. Looks like a couple of the strands are already outside of the yeah, it's already got a couple. We'll see if that's free. If that's free, we'll not worry about it. If it's not, we have to try to chase another cable. Let's get that unbolted. I don't know if there's a slide. Yeah, there's a slide in the back, so we should be able to take the wheel right off. Hopefully we can clear that. See, it's got a master link on the chain. Each side tightened down independently. That one. Walk that chain right off of there. Just got to the outside. There you go. Let's see if it'll free itself. There is a snubber holding the brake drum from turning. I'll show you. Looks like we got to clear that. That has to be able to kick out far enough to. I'm gonna do it. There you go. Yeah, there's that brake assembly. It's gonna have to kind of go with it. Can this just pop right out of here? I'm probably gonna take the shaft apart. Take the brake drum off and leave it. Or do we just pull that cable out and say screw it, we'll deal with it later? Yeah, that's all. It looks like it lost a couple back in here too. There's a strand hanging. Alright. Executive decision. Because you're never going to get that back on. Sometimes you can pack them with solder, like afterwards, to tighten them up. Freedom. I do see nuts down inside there. Stop with the jokes. Yeah, see if we get that. So the rim should split apart. We gotta figure out how to get some of this stuff off of here though. Yeah, it's gonna be behind that brake drum. We should probably take it all apart anyway, just to kind of see what the shape things are. Bearings feel pretty good. I don't know about what kind of condition the brakes are in though. Yeah, let's go open one up. Why not? we're in. Looks pretty good, actually. Much better than I expected. Yeah, I think it has many miles on it at all. A lot of the shoes is still there. And generally, you know, everything I ever rode, the back brakes were all chewed up. Alright, let's go see about getting that's access to the valve stem, I think. Supposed to be. Yeah. Let's I guess we gotta buzz the sprocket off out of our way, and then we can get to those lower bolts. Split that tire. Yeah. There we go. Now we can see them. I guess it's gonna lift right out of there for us. Oh yeah. Push out the other side. Where's our valve stem? I wonder what happened to that. Who caused that to happen? I wonder if we could fix that if you had to. Yeah. This happens when you give it gas when there's no air in it. Spun the rim inside the tire. Let's go grab another tube. I don't know if I got the exact same size. They were kind of like one tube size fits all. Looks like I should be able to get it in there. I'm going to take the valve stem out of it. Actually, because this rim's cutting open in half, and we don't have to feed it in, we just take some air out. So it kind of like maintain its shape, you know. Alright, so just shove that in the tire. Let's throw a little bit of air back in it, fluff it up. I don't know if I just screwed up or not. I think the indexing is off. So that's where the hole is. You got 4 places you can kind of rotate, I guess, to try to get air into the valve stem. But no matter what I try and do, if I go with that, it's off. And I go with that, it's off. So I unscrewed it again. I think because we got 6 points here, we should be able to index that maybe a little differently. Not sure. I would think possibly we could rotate this assembly to where it would line up. So we need it to look something like that, right? Those two lined up. So let's go see what looks. We need the valve stem right about there. Will that work for us? If we do that. I think so. Get it close anyway. So I'm going to screw with that a little bit. See if I can get all those pieces to jive. Is that going to be right? Still the same thing? Is there not a window where it'll line up to that? It's kind of dumb, huh? I'm gonna go pick at that a little bit, see if there is a solution. Yeah, essentially I need to get those two lined up. Lined up. I'm not quite sure if that was even lined up correctly to begin with. Yeah, likely story, right? You got a 1 in 6 shot of getting it right. Bolt that back up, start getting this wheel assembly. I might take a minute and clean the bike with some cleaner while the wheel's off of it. Yeah, this is just WD-40 in a spray bottle. Let's go try to see if all that crap will, I want to break off a little. Soak that down. Probably like Scotch-Brite. Pumper's not pumping good. Hate when that happens. Anyway, you get the idea. So I'm going to go spray all that down, see if we can get some of that crap off of there and bring it back and get that wheel on there. You might as well get that chain off too. Soak that in something. It's already half fallen off. The master link wasn't even clipped in. on out. I'll find something to soak that. Oh yeah. I'd say it looks a little better. It's not shiny or anything, but I went around with the WD and Scotch-Brite and just got all the dirt off of it, and then brought it outside, hit it with the pressure washer. Definitely got all the crud out of our way. You can see now what they all painted black, which is the chain guard, the muffler was chrome. And my guess is that front end was too. One thing I see, which gets me a little bit concerned, somebody's definitely been in before. Let me go plop the light up. So you can definitely see the sealer, and I laid the bike down and hit it with a pressure washer. That goes all the way around. So someone's been inside there before, maybe played with the clutch, and maybe we've had a problem, or still has a problem. Maybe that's why it was parked, because something got screwed up inside there. That's just a guess. Let's I just threw a bolt, a nut rather, on the back tire just to be able to roll it. I'm gonna take it back apart. I'll get the fender back on it, and we'll get that chain assembly. Won't worry about the brake for now, the cable. Hook that back up, and maybe we'll start jumping into this clutch setup. I put air in that front tire too, so we're good. Yeah, so let's get that buttoned up, and then we'll look into here. Kind of curious what's going on. Hopefully we can, you know, cure that or figure out how it's supposed to work. Yeah, you thought I wasn't going to repack the bearings. Thought I forgot about it, didn't you? I did. I'm gonna go clean that out. I don't know, these all fell out of the race. So I don't know if they are just like an individually packed setup and they sit in there. The balls are all over here. And the other side so far is staying together. But I'm gonna rinse both of them out. See how the race looks itself. Looks, I don't see any scratches or anything. It's packed with grease, it was not rusty. So that side kind of stayed together so far. I'll take both of those. Kind of wash them out, repack them. The grease will actually hold them in the socket when we put the axle back in. Let's go take a quick look at that axle. Make sure we got nothing going on. We want to look at that surface right there for scratches. Let's see if it's tore up at all. Actually looks pretty good too. And then whatever the collar for the other side, where'd that end up? Right there. This is the other race. So the balls kind of roll on that without any restriction. Yeah, I think it's fine. It looks like we just got to pluck them out of there. Wash them up. Yeah, I think this thing definitely did not sit outdoors. Still got the original upholstery on the seat and all. Yeah, at some point in its young life it did. That's why the muffler and everything got painted. I'm sure that turned to rust. But it wasn't like the 40 years it sat outside, because all this stuff eventually water would have got in it, taking it out. Yeah, so I'm not going to bore you with this. I'm going to take a minute, clean all that up, repack them, and then we'll get that wheel on there. See how the chain's doing. I got the chain soaking in lacquer thinner. Load her up. It's got to be kind of the glue to hold it in there, so need to kind of pack that reservoir. And yes, I washed my balls. Let's go run around. Just kind of pack all them in. Then I got to flip it over and set up the other side the same way. It will be smooth rolling. Waiting for me to drop one down the middle, aren't you? So am I. Getting tight. Need one more spot. There you go. Ah! You jinxed me. I jinxed me. At least the other side's not together yet. Get in there. A little tickle around them, pack them into place. Good for another 40 years. That's been about a half hour on lacquer thinner. I also cleaned it. I took the wire wheel and I got all the heavy stuff off of it. See how that one looks. Yeah, decent. I'm probably going to take in a parts washer too. I'll hit it with a scrub brush. Maybe you can knock off the last little bit of... I don't know if that's paint that's on there. It kind of seems like it, doesn't it? Maybe when they painted some of the other parts of the bike, they painted the chain. Alright, let's go rinse that off. I'm not going to oil it now. I'm just going to get it cleaned up and we'll throw it back on there. That's all back together. A little bit of play in it. You can kind of tweak them. There's cams on the back here, and they're an eccentric. Pulls back on the bolt against that stop, and that's how you can adjust it. Plus, you got to pitch it from left to right. I might be off a hair, I think, this way, but we'll run it. If you get like the chain binding a little bit, like popping a little, you can tweak it. I look down the center of it. It seems like I'm fairly straight. A lot of times, too, it'll show up like right there where the chain either goes off or on. It'll do like a little bit of a sideways vibration. We'll see. All right, let's go to the other side and look at that clutch a little bit. So normally the way the clutch works, you pull the cable, there's a cam on the inside that pushes on a rod and opens a clutch pack up. Might be some water in here. Again, I just threw the cover on to pressure wash it. There's no gasket in it. This also had oil in it when we took it apart. But this one, even like in the comments, people were saying different things like how it's supposed to work. The centrifugal clutch, when it's in the like regular position, you start it up and then you pull the clutch lever in and it kind of like locks it into gear. I don't know about that. I guess we're gonna go find out. So generally there's a rod in the center. So in this cover, there's a little arm that pushes on that rod, and that opens a clutch pack, which is going to be this, what's in this basket right here. But it feels like no matter what we do, it's locked all the time, and that was the problem that we ran into on the first part. Was it was always engaged. So it looks like it's got a spring clip. Let's go get. That's hard to take apart, huh? And let's go see what we got underneath here, what it looks like. Yeah. Okay, so now you can kind of see the inner and outers free from each other. So if you kick the motor over, this should be the inside that spins. So how would that work? You have to squeeze the clutch for it to be in neutral? That would be a pain in the ass, wouldn't it? Like if you're trying to, if the bike's just sitting there trying to warm up, is it always going to be in gear? Man, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like maybe there's a spring missing, because normally there's a, like on a regular motorcycle clutch, you have like a spring pack. There's like springs facing straight out at you that keeps pressure on it all the time, and then when you pull the lever in, you pull against the springs and you take the tension off of the spring pack. But this just kind of keys everything right together, doesn't it? That's just locking this and this together. Let's get the nut off of it and we'll take a peek. Maybe it's a possibility they're just kind of stuck together and they need like a little bit of freeing up. If there's only one clutch, again, I just don't know the answer to it. And judging by that silicone going around the outside of the case too, someone's had something apart before. What if it's left or right hand thread too is the other part of it? That's definitely been apart too. The nut's all beat up. Comes flying at us. Parts everywhere. It looks like it's set up for maybe a puller in the center part of it. And it's keyed. Yeah, see if we can get a little puller on there. We'll pop it off. I'm just curious to see even how it works. It just, even if it's, I don't know if it's okay, but I wonder if these just, Make your puller work a little better. Got to grease the shaft and the pivot point on the inside where it makes contact. Let's go find it. It looks like a, what do you think, 1/2 inch? No. Yes, had the wrong socket. Right. Run that in there. There we go. Yeah. So that's the regular clutch setup that it has on the inside. And then the outer locks up. That's a weird kind of setup, huh? Let's get this clutch thing off of here. Alright. Now we can see what we got. And it's wet all the time. So, just like a mini bike clutch, when it revs up, it doesn't touch the drum, but then when it revs up, these shoes rock to the outside, makes contact, and makes the inner and the outer part of it spin. But it was turning all the time on us, and I think what was happening was, I see some crap here, I think the face of it, this part right here, let's get all this stuff out of it. Alright, so this is really not supposed to have any pressure on it. And then when you squeeze the lever, you put more pressure on it and it helps lock the clutch up. So that's what they were talking about, where I kind of like, I don't want to call it shifting gears, but so my guess is these two surfaces were kind of bound up with each other. I do see some crap like in between the veins, plus it's just been sitting so long. It's soaked in oil, so let's go clean some of that up and take a little bit better peek at it. And maybe the cable is just too tight where it's pushing too much. I'm not sure. I just wiped it down. It looks like it's got adjustment on it too. You can take screws and add or take away how much tension it takes for these to start to engage. What a funky setup. Never really seen something like that before. Kind of cool, I guess. Maybe it keeps you from burning it up. So when that's in there, they should not touch, and then when it spins, it should lock. And the outer shell should only transfer, that should only push on it when we push the lever with the little pin in the button. And that setup is on there, so to get it to lock up, they push a little bit harder. Kind of like opposite of what a regular motorcycle clutch is set up like. Alright, so I'm going to take a little bit of time just to make sure everything is okay. I'm going to throw some stuff back together again. Maybe we'll fire it up and we'll see. It will just back that lever off altogether. We'll see if we have like free play on this. And back there, you can definitely see one hot spot where that plate was touching more than any other. I don't just got a bend or anything to it. I'm going to lay it on like a piece of glass and see if it has any kind of rock to it. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a rock to it. I don't think I want to try getting any kind of bend out of it though. I think I might just trash it and make it worse. I think if we can get it to where it just doesn't touch, it should be okay. So even right now, it should have play in it, which it does. The motor should be able to spin. We can't grab it with our fingers right now. That's the problem. Let's go throw that back in. The gasket, it's got a little bit of a tear in it in one spot. I'm going to go clean that. When we do, we'll mount that in the upmost position. Can we? Actually, it looks like it's dedicated to a certain, like that. I'll do our best to piece it back together. So it looks like that little 10mm is the drain, and this would be the fill. Let's see if we get the fill out of it. Always take the fill out first. Not that it really matters in this one, but nothing worse than draining something. It's like a rear end on a car. You drain something and then go get the fill plug out and it doesn't come out. So that could be an issue. All right, let's go grab a wrench, take that out of there, see if there's anything left to piss out. We'll put some new fluid in it. It might be a little bit still trapped back there. Yeah, it looks like somebody put some thread or something on there. I wonder if it was leaking. There's like a cloth or like tape that you would put on a pipe joint. That is stripped out, and maybe put that in there. Yeah. So much for just cracking it loose and letting it spin off, right? Jeez, it's a mile long. Yeah, water's coming up, and oil. Yeah, they had some kind of like something on there. Let's let that piss a little. I'm gonna lean it this way. You stab at it. A little bit of crud's coming out. A little bit of mud now. There it goes. It's probably like clutch material or something. I don't know. Should just run right out. You could always take an air gun. You want to take an air gun, try shooting it in the air, see if it launched right at us. Get that light out of your way too. See what we get. Oh no, not bad. It's pretty dry. Let's see if we find a little nylon washer or something that you can put on there instead of whatever they used. They're both the same size? Yeah. So we just jam one of them all the way down to the end of the threads. So we'll take it in there with a funnel or something. I tried different setups, something like that. The hose is too big. I'm like, well, what about just like a gearbox? Gear oil set up with a cap. Here's the oil that's supposed to go in it. Yeah. Really? So I gotta go probably drain one of these out, and I'll fill it with this and hopefully get that in there. If that does not work, we are going to go for the old squirt can, which already has oil in it too. So I found a solution. My little pumper valve. So purge all the power steering fluid out of that, automatic trans fluid out of that, and we'll try sticking it into one of those. So you can rinse it out first. We'll just run some into the tub. So I guess we get a color change, right? I don't know. Getting there. That's looking pretty good. Awesome. We'll switch over to the bike. And pretty much we're just going to fill that until it starts to piss out the top of the hole. That's kind of like what the level's supposed to be. Get you set up so you can see. So we're just going to keep on going. I actually forgot I had this. That it? Give it a second to flow forward on the motor. We'll give her a couple more shots. So we're probably about right there. Do it one more time. It was pouring out for about 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Just wait for that to stop. Throw a drain plug in. Yeah, let's go clean some of this crap off of here and fire it up. See how it does. Oh, let's go look in the free play is what we were talking about, which seems like it's got plenty. So you pull the lever. I like how they have it the other way around. Yeah, that's how much free play is. It's got more than enough free play before that is touching the center of that. Yeah, see what we get. Yeah, so it's been a little bit. Let's go see. I think that would be gas on. I don't know if we can see. Yeah, it's going up and in. And that's got a choke lever on it that we click, and then when you give it full throttle, it pops off. Let's give her a couple of kicks, see if she'll go. Let me back you up. Throttle. I had the cover over the points. I'm going to take a quick peek and make sure we got spark. It's just got a button for the kill, so I don't... as a plug wire rips right out of it. It's not like it has an on-off switch. Let's see if we still got spark. Yeah, got spark. Give her a little bit more. Got to slide that coil forward. The plug wire is just barely long enough. Let's see what we got. Choke it by hand. Not that tight to be able to stop. There it goes. Let it run for a second with the choke on it. And we'll pop the choke off. You gotta turn it full throttle for the choke to release. Get a little heat in it first though. Let's see if it'll pop off. See if it'll idle. Man, it just dies. So, I don't know if we need to go do a little bit of tweaking. I'm going to let it warm up a little bit more on the choke. And we'll try it again. We'll see if we can get a good idle. Make sure we don't have any intake leaks. We did the first time around. I'm also going to slide this coil a little further forward because there's just enough room for that to make it. You had to go cut a little bit off in the last video. Yeah, I'm going to go see if we can shimmy that forward and we'll fire it up again. It's loose. Should go. That should be enough. Yeah, it's dripping gas. It's so that float's got to come apart again. See if it'll go though. Let that run. We'll grab the air cleaner. we'll run without the choke. Let's go flip that carb up and clean that bowl. Probably got some more crap out of the tank. We cleaned the tank. It wasn't great though. Let's go pop that off. Fortunately, they're fairly simple setup. It's got enough room to turn it. I'm going to take the fuel line off the other side. That fuel line is the original one. It's kind of stiff. So I don't want to manipulate it too much. Alright, now we could see. Let's go get the bowl off of it. And I don't think we didn't put a needle seat in it because we didn't have one. Probably try looking one up for it, but just still idle. It shouldn't run just on choke like that. See in a second by how much crap's in the float bowl. Yeah, if the debris from the tank comes down, it will make it so the needle and seat has material between it and it won't shut the fuel off. You might have, it's got water in it. There's your problem. I don't know, it's probably just from you washing it. Go over there. See it? That's not gas, it wouldn't move like that. That is water. Won't run on water. I'm gonna let that purge out a little bit. I'm gonna let it just kind of piss out and run some of the fuel out of the tank, out of the pet, and then we'll put it back together and give it another shot. Yeah, you can see it in the tray too. That's just me pressure washing it. Whoops. See you guys. Yeah, it's gonna die. Yeah, I think we need like an air cleaner to even out the mix a little bit, is my guess. What's happening right now. And what's in there, I don't know if this is the correct one or not that's supposed to be there. Kind of looks like a 70s, what a 70s moped would have, but there's nothing there to hold it. Like there's more of a container that would be on it, and then it had a bail that went on there. I can go look up in the stash. One of those little China doll motors seem to have something that's somewhat similar to that. It's got to turn on a fan too, huh? It's one of those yard sale bikes. Again, one of those little China doll things. What I was talking about was this thing. Looks like it was screwed on there. Let's go eyeball that. Maybe. How tight is it? Of course I didn't bring a screwdriver with me. I think we're going to need a screwdriver for the face of it anyway, aren't we? It's got screws in it. Yeah, we'll grab a screwdriver. Let's see if this has anything to offer us. Maybe. Go see if that'll fit over the face of the carb. Oh, close. Let's flip that bail up. I wonder if we can put a slice in it, be able to get it to fit. So I think that'll work. I think we can get it. Problem is, it's almost like the exact size of it. Let's go try putting that filter in it. This one. Yeah. Because that's the size of that hole. What if we could do something like that? Maybe put the bail, like make a extension to the bail, or maybe we'll just throw a tie wrap or something around it for now and try it and see if that'll help. Maybe. That's better. If that doesn't work, you know, possibly we have an intake leak, and my guess is where that sealer is right there. Might be an issue. I don't know if we ever took that off. We probably did, because we had the... Did we take the head off? I think we just took this off. I don't think we took the jug off. So yeah, maybe we didn't have that apart, and that's an intake leak right there. Let's give it another shot, see what we get. Should grab some spray. Generally, if you spray it around there, and if it comes back to life or dies, or makes any kind of difference, it's got a leak. That didn't make any difference. Alright, so there's a couple things I'm kind of thinking of that could be an issue, why it's doing what it's doing. One is crank seals, especially after we ran it a little bit. And crank seals is essentially the air fuel mix goes down in the bottoms, like below the piston, and uses the crankcase area. Not where we put the oil, that's separate. But it uses the bottom of the crankcase as like an air pump to draw air fuel mix in, and then it pumps it around to the top of the cylinder, top of the piston rather. And if the seals on this crank are no good, instead of it trying to pump up into there, it'll pump into this area and cause like a massive air leak or a vacuum leak. It's possibly that could be it. You really don't want to tear into that unless you really have to. You would normally also kind of like feel a little bit of play and stuff that's in there. Also, the fact that somebody opened up the crankcase has got me a little leery on what's going on with that. I'm gonna go pull that carb apart one more time. Just give it a better once over, take it right off, and just kind of look at everything and see what we have. Possibly I can find something. We'll blow it out. Just one. Again, there's not much to it. There's one jet in it, and I already blew that out. But anyway, I'm gonna go clean that one more time and put it back on and just give it one more shot. The only thing I was hoping for was that the emulsion tube, just that brass piece in the center right there, like one of those were clogged. I wasn't able to get that out of there to clean it. I'm gonna go shove some fuel up inside it and just see what the flow is. I already did it, so I know the answer, but see if I can demonstrate it. So as you can see, both of those ports are clear. That's not an issue. And the main jet was fine. There's nothing going on with inside there. I'm going to put it back together one more time, and I do not see, it's not going to get any contaminants in it. It's not like the tank brought a bunch of stuff. It's starting to look like those crank seals, unfortunately, but well, I got the carb off. I'm going to pull that intake manifold off of there. Like I said, that sealer and everything that's on there, just to make sure we don't have an issue going on. Let's go. That looks a little egged out. See the other side of it looks like. I would think like this wouldn't be the gasket. I would think that this would be like a spacer. I'm going to clean all this up. So I got the intake off. I'm going to kind of check that bottom of the crankcase. The piston is up a decent amount all the way up. And I should be able to blow in there, and I should have a bunch of resistance. If I don't, it'll be blowing out around the crank seal. I could blow through a little bit, but you should expect a little bit. You should be able to push, you know, past the rings a little bit going into the exhaust. I'm not thinking that's what the issue is. Still not sure though. Well, sometimes I'm riding mowers and stuff. The manifold where it's bolted down, kind of shaped like a a hoop to it or a curve. Let's go give a little sanding on it and see what kind of pattern it leaves for us. If that's the case, it'll just kind of the sand the ends. And so it's doing just there and there for now. So I'm going to keep going on that a little and see if we can get a even surface going across. You would think that black, that piece of plastic would be able to take the gap up, but still. I'm going to work on a little bit. And plus we also saw that that was flipped over. It wasn't sitting in there correctly. So that's looking pretty good. Yeah, it was definitely on backwards. The way it was set up before was like that, and the path was totally wrong. So we are going to go, like I said, and take some of the real thin layer. That's probably way too much right there. Of the right stuff. Kind of coat that. Probably should have did the manifold instead of the head. The other place you can have an intake leak too is right, where the base of the jug meets it. But it would have done the same thing when I went to go put the tube on it and blew through. If there was an air leak, it would have leaked out through there. This looks pretty good. Let me a little bit on here. Like I said, generally, and so what you're doing is, it's actually running lean. There's not enough gas. It's sucking too much air, so the mix is off. When people say it's running lean, that's what it means. That's what possibly is happening with this, is that instead of drawing through the carburetor and pulling fuel as it goes along, what it's doing is it's sucking air in for there and just totally throwing the mix off. Hence why it gets that not wanting to drop down to an idle and revving high and then slowly going to an idle and then falling off and not responding to the input of what you're trying to set it. Even it had an air fuel mix on it, it would kind of do the same thing too, just not make sense. I'm gonna let that tack up a little bit and then we'll bolt that down, put it back together and give her another shot. All right, let's try it again, see what we get. No air cleaner on it. Let's give it a choke. Already sounds better. If I run it through and we get an idle. Might have been it. It was the intake manifold. That screws all the way in. Now it's like the other way. Now it's too rich. Give her that a little bit. got better throttle response, but it doesn't seem like it has. See if it dies. I think it's gonna, but definitely a big difference from what it was. Yeah, it definitely had an intake leak before. See how fast it drops down to, it doesn't hang up like it did before. So we're on the right path, getting there. I don't think it's got an exhaust restriction. Leaking a little right there. I lost the O-ring, that one. I had to go hunt for another one, then it just ran now, it just fell out. I'm glad it's not the crank seals. And the back tire seems like it's stopping too. Let's go see if we can stop that with our foot. Yeah, so that clutch is working. And what we're supposed to be able to do is squeeze that lever. Let's go give that a shot. It might stall the motor, but let's see what we get. Yeah. And that makes it drive. It shuts off. Good. Getting there. The adjustments, like I said, that's run all the way in. That all that does is it holds that slide in different positions. And see if we can get a screwdriver on there. We'll give it a. Looks like we're almost there. It's actually not bad where it is right now if it stays idling. But what happens is, this stuff's kind of like finicky. There's a reason why you're able to grab that with your fingers while you're riding, because as it's hot and warm, cold, the weather changes, you kind of tweak that idle all the time. Definitely needs to be run somehow. Get all that. It sounds like it's a little on the rich side though, because it doesn't rev like it should. It sounds like it's gone the other way. It's, like I said, too rich. I wonder if somebody opened up that main jet or trying to fix it, and maybe they drilled it a little too large. Getting there. I'm gonna go turn that fan on, blow on it. I'm gonna turn the shop fan on. Get some of the air evacuated out here. Let it run a little. I'll bring it back, let it put a little bit. I know the fan's are loud, but put up with me for a second. So I've been screwing around with it, and if I turn the fuel on and off to kind of maintain the float level, you hear it coming in. Everything kind of dials in like it should. The screws in the right spot, the throttle even sound good. But then of course it's going to run out of gas in a second because the float level goes down too much. Kind of give it a second, give it a little bit of gas, turn it back on. You can kind of dial it in. Let me kill this. You can kind of dial it in. You can get it to run just like it's supposed to with the throttle in the right spot, and it seems about the right richness. So my thinking is the float level, the float fuel is allowed to come up way too high, and it's kind of like throttling itself into the carb, and or the main jet just got opened up and it's a little too big, or somebody changed it to try to fix that problem that was down there. So I'm going to pop it off one more time, see what we can do to try to fudge the float level. So I wouldn't say I see the float is, generally you can kind of tell by the way the float sits if it's perpendicular. A lot of times there's certain rules, like you take a roll pin, you put it underneath there, you check the measurement. This really doesn't have an adjustment on it. Let's see if we can get that pin out of there. It's just kind of a fixed, it's captured in the pin is captured in the groove of the float. like that. But what I really think is happening, I don't think it's just shutting off all the way, because we did see it with a little bit of fuel kind of pissing out around it. And I'm looking at the little nitrile tip that's on there. I'm not sure how well it's going to show up, but it is somewhat distorted. So if that tip has been like hammered down, it will make it so that the float level is higher. I'm going to take a real better look at that tip too, and I want to see if somebody possibly drilled it out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to tell, but I'm going to look under the scope real quick. The opening does seem, again, kind of guessing, you know. I'm going to go peek on that, see if somebody drilled that open a little bit. That's what I would have done if it was running lean, but I don't know if I can look it up. There should be a number on here. Maybe it'll say what the jet size is, and possibly look up what's supposed to be in it. But it's something that's 53 years old. I'm not sure it's going to come up or not. I'm going to do a little bit of homework, see what I can find. Looking through my carb kits, this is like something for like a weed eater type carb. Found another needle. Looks like it's roughly the same overall length. Of course, it's got a new tip on it. I'm not sure if that's... No, that is. Making sure it wasn't metal. Let's see how that fits in the bore. It actually almost feels fairly decent. Let's go try it with that one in there, and we'll see if it, probably just turn the fuel on, we'll see if it overflows. I looked up the main jet. There's supposed to be a 56. There is a 60 that is in it. I think, which way does it go? Is it smaller the number? The smaller the number, the larger the size. So a 60 is smaller than a 56 right off the bat, so I'm not sure if that's gonna help us at all. I'm gonna go put this back together and we'll put fuel to it, see if it overflows at all. Yeah, it definitely sits much more up at an angle. Hopefully that's not too much stuff. What I can do, I just don't know, like when we go to bulk, actually might be okay. At the height of that float ball, how much room does it have to travel? It's still got some room. Let's go try it. What we got to lose? That's hooked up. Turn the gas back on. Well, hopefully. Only been a couple of seconds though. Let's give it a kick. See what it does. Choke, no choke. Let's try no choke. Let it run a minute. See if it maintains its idle. Still doesn't have the air cleaner on it yet, but still. Gonna run out of gas in the tank again too. Let's turn this fan on. Sorry about the noise. It's gonna die. Yeah, still same issue. Put the air cleaner on, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna choke it out more. I don't know if I have a, I'm gonna look and see if I have a set of jets I can kind of play with. Go a little smaller, I think go a little smaller, we can dial it in. Watch it when I'm gonna rev it up, I'm gonna turn the gas off. So I turn it off and back on again. It'll rev super high. I was leaning on the kill button. It'll rev really, it'll be right in tune as you kind of let the fuel run out, let the fuel and the float go down a little, which again, you're leaning it out, which the indication is. It should make it worse. Yeah. There's that. I gotta get some jets. We just gotta, you just small the hole. I think somebody opened that up, is my guess. I think it's probably the correct jet, but somebody shrunk this, opened the size up to try to cure a problem that was caused by something else. Fun working on old junk, isn't it? Yeah, finally got the smoke cleared out and noise shut down. So poking around what I got, I found a couple of jets. These are way too large. I thought I had a kit for my TW that you can adjust them. Couldn't find it, but here's what was in it, and I used drill bits for like my index, and these have numbers on top. So the one that came out of it is a 71 drill bit would fit in it, and this one is a 73 or 74 roughly that fits through it. You know, again, that much smaller than the other one. So I'm gonna go try that. We'll put it back together and see what we get. And can only hope, right? Well, the other thing you could do is you could kind of fill them with solder. You can take like one of these. You fill it with solder and then you just open it up with a drill bit. It doesn't have to be, it's only letting so much fuel going through it. It doesn't care if it's a nice smooth circle or if it's jagged, whatever it is. It's just the amount of fuel that flows through it. So it's not like, I'll try to explain it. Its efficiency is not in how smooth the fluid goes through it. It's whatever restriction it is whatever restriction it is. Up top, when you start getting to the emulsifying tubes and things like that, then you're kind of concerned about how much of a mist it's being broken into, but not at this point. It's just raw fuel that's sucking through there. And take 743. Give her some choke. Let's see what it does. Idle for a little bit. Seemed like it revved okay though. Probably could still go smaller is my guess. Almost there. Like I said, when we put the air cleaner on, it's going to throw it off a little bit too. Sometimes I think something happened. I think somebody drilled that bit out, the jet out. I'm going to let it get hot again. I'm going to turn that fan on, turn it on low. I'll bring you back. You don't have to listen to all that crap. That's been a few minutes. Definitely a lot better. The idle speed mixer screw is in a window where it's workable. And we're not like pounding the smoke out of the thing neither like it was. I'm gonna go set that air cleaner back up on it. We'll kind of double check it again. I think it's about as best we're gonna get with what we have for jets, but we're definitely on the right track. I think we go a little bit smaller. We'll kind of put it in that correct window, but again, working with what we got. Let's go kill that. Let's see how it restarts. Yeah, there we go. Alright, I'm gonna go pop the air cleaner back on. Air clean's on it. I'm gonna try to run it a little bit too, may help or hurt. But it's under control, at least it idles and kind of does what it should. So I think I'm gonna jump ahead. I'm gonna throw the front fender back on and some of that stuff. The chain guard, we could lube the chain, put the chain guard on. We gotta make a brake cable up for that rear. See what we got for that. I don't think we're ever gonna get that one back together. I think that's so thrashed on the end of it, we're not going to get it fed back through. So I'm going to go see what we got that maybe we could push through that jacket in up and around, like a bicycle cable or something. What does it got for an end? It would be this one. So whatever that uses for a barrel end, I got to check into. I think it's just captured. We all right? Heat-wise, seems pretty good too now. When something runs lean, it runs hot. All right. Quite smoke myself out again. Let me go chase a bunch of that stuff, and I'll bring you back. Hey, going over some things. I took the muffler off, kind of cleaned up on a wire wheel. Let's give her a little listen. Let's go give her a little choke. Guess the muffler works, huh? It's a tad rough. That's more like it. Smooth that out first. It's got nipples. Gotta like nipples. Let's get that little key on the top and the bottom of locks into. Let's see what that does for us now. Kept falling off before. I gotta give her a twist back. I need two hands. That'll get it. Come on. That's it. Well, I think we're down to the last funked out brake cable. And this is, I think Walmart sells these. I mean, that I got it online. They're like 10 bucks a set. And it's like everything for all the cables that you would put on like a 10-speed bike or a mountain bike. So hopefully we steal the cable out of one of those. Maybe we'll just use this jacket over. Let's look at the handlebar. We'll start taking it apart. We'll see what it's got on it for an end. So it looks like it goes into this barrel. You got to push like the cable in, and then the barrel can come out. That light might fall. Let's see what we get. There we go. Yeah, see, it's got on it for an end. Round ball. So let's go look for some round balls in that kit. Plus we need someone that's got a decent amount of length to it. That actually looks like it right there, huh? Let's see if that'll just, as long as it's locked into the socket. Yeah, I'll do it. Let's go lay that out and see if it's going to be long enough. Again, we don't need to even need the jacket. I don't really want it, you know, because of the colors. The original one was that tan, I guess you want to call it. Just go see if this is going to be long enough. I think it is. I'll stand up by the handlebar. Just kind of walk it. More than enough. All right, so we can get rid of this end we don't need. I'm gonna, I might heat it up, put a little bit of solder on it to keep it from spreading apart, or I may just try to grind the barrel that's off of it. Not sure yet. Almost like a little piece of steel they peened over. The rest of it was solder. So we cut that frazzled end off. I don't want to try pulling it through. No turning back now. Right. How about some chain and cable lube I found? Let's go shove that up in there, and hopefully it kind of pushes out up by the handlebar. I'm gonna try feeding it from the other end. Get gravity on our side. There we go. Push it through. And so I'm going to go feed that new cable down through there and just put everything back together. The little tip fell off the end there. Yes, I'm going to go try pushing this new one through. Yeah, probably be about 5 miles too long. We'll have to cut it again, but there we go. Plenty of room. Alright, so I'm going to hook all that stuff up and see if we can get rear brakes. And 2 minutes later. I think the kit might have a little plastic cap that you could put over this. You slide it over and you can cut it so it doesn't spread out. And what do we got? Yeah, might be one of those little black things right there. Just kind of keeps them from spreading. Yeah, that or that little barrel right there. My light's spazzing out. Let's go spin that on there. Probably wire cutters would be better for the crimp, but let's see what that does. This doesn't fall off. That's good. Getting near the end. The only thing I have, it had foot pegs on it with like these gushy, what's left of, yeah, there's just nothing left of it. Let's go see if we have any kind of like maybe heater hose or something that would fit on there fairly snug. Something's got to be better than that, right? And as you can tell, my hose stash, I don't know, like this is heater hose right here. It might be a little fat. We'll bring that down with us. There's a smaller diameter one. Well, you know what's going to happen. One's going to be too big, one's going to be too small. Let's see if we have anything else. This is Volkswagen. Specialty hose for VW. Looks like it's probably going to be the same size as that though. Yeah. I'm willing to bet it's probably going to be this one if maybe we heat it up real good. See anything else? What's that right there? That's the same thing. It's smaller. We'll bring that down. And the other one, wherever we had it. That one. I think that's about what we got. What's that right there? That too. Guess we could wrap them with something too also. So, no. I think this is going to be too big. I think it'll go on there, but I don't know. Maybe we can glue that. Let's go try that. Wherever this is. It's probably about the same. Match the cables though, huh? Let's I'm gonna cut up a couple of pieces of this and we'll spray some spray glue in it and just see how it holds up over time. Hand grips are too big. How about some super trim adhesive? I feel that way in the morning. Gonna take a piss. Let that tack up a little. We'll let that set up a little bit. It is contact adhesive though. It's not really meant to kind of go together like that, but we'll see how it works out for us. Gotta be like when you I'm just worried it's gonna we're gonna push it on halfway, you know. The other part too, you could probably take the smaller one and slice it. Let's see how this works out. For that matter, you could just take the welder and weld a bunch of nubs on it so your foot doesn't slip off. Shall we? Let's give her. I don't think we waited long enough. Take it back off. Let some air get to it. Almost like to when it cures and then you just touch the two of them together and then the glue bonds. Missed it by that much. That kind of sucks, actually. Or run a screw right down through it, self-tapper, keep it from spinning. Well, I found a solution that seems to be working. Cleaned them up and took the smaller hose and I split it down the center, sprayed that with glue, sprayed this one with glue while it's open, let it air out and cure. And let's see how this goes for us. It seems to bite pretty good. Yeah, of course the bottom's not sealed up going across it, but I think it's good enough. Your feet don't go on the bottom anyway, right? Yeah, that's on there pretty good. All right. So I think we got pretty much most things settled. I got the air cleaner too. I took that and put a grind mark in it for that bail and bent the bail. So now the air cleaner is held on. You pop the bail off and that air filter is half in this one and half in there, allowing it to, you know, it's keyed side to side because this and this are pretty much the same size, but the air filter bridges the gap. and then the bail is holding it like a cap on a master cylinder. All right. I think it might be that time. Not bad. So we take her outside. Well, that might be an issue. You know, you're having fun when time goes by and it's now nighttime. So I figured I'd throw it in the back of Krusty between its two big brothers there, and we'll go take it someplace else for a neat little ride. See how it works out for us. Alright, let's go for a ride. Maybe not. Gotta turn the gas on. Turn the gas on before it runs out. How you doing?
See you again.
They're cool. Speed bump. You want to run it? Here's the tractor. Want to run it?
We're gonna try to siphon some gas.
How much for a cookie? Who's he hiding?
Oh, now you got it.
What's up, sir? So what do you want to trade for the tractor?
What do you think of that, huh?
I like it.
Lucky kid. Only kid that can ride muscle scooter.
Gets pulled over by the cops, the little parking lot cops.
You go to jail right along with it.
That's all right. Good company. Kill button's right there. Hold it down. There you go. Awesome. Well, it seems pretty decent. I've run it about an hour, hour and a half or so, and the more it runs, it seems like it's getting better and better with that four-stroking on the lower RPMs, which again is too much of a rich condition. But it seems like it's all right. It's, again, it's still a little, you get off the line, it's a little kind of boggy. If we tweak that main jet, I think we can probably get it to run a little bit better. But I'm just gonna keep running it for a little while. See if I can order a jet kit, see if it can go a little smaller, and or, like I said, fill one of the jets up with solder and drill it to the diameter that we want. But it's a pretty cool little rig. It's tiny, you know, the handlebars fold down. Compared to anything else, like a bicycle, it's like half the size of a small bicycle. So it's good to even, like, you want to go pop in the trunk and go putt around. And, you know, hauls my 200-pound ass around fairly decent. A little too squirrely in the sand, I'd say. That's a cool little rig. Okay, I think it's going to wrap it up for this one. And we've got some other stuff to go work on, but just want to go and show this one off. I have fun with these little bikes. They're, you know, it's quite enjoyable. It's fairly simple to work on. And yeah, I think this one's a decent rig. I still want to get rid of that black paint that's on the handlebars. Got to match the rest of the patina of the rest of the bike and, you know, get it all looking the same. You can see with that the exhaust pipe on the bottom. Clean that up a little, make it just look like a 53-year-old bike should, in my opinion. Alright guys, with that we're going to go sign off and thank you all for hanging out with me. A little bit of wrenching, a little bit of screwing around and acting like a 7-year-old. And we'll do it again sometime soon. Till then, later. Need a horn.
Got 70 miles per gallon on this hog.
70 miles, you need the mirror. 70 miles per hour on this hog.
Just when I think you can't beat it.
Yeah.
And dumber, you go and do something like this.
And totally redeem yourself.